Welcome back, guys. In this very tutorial we will learn how to sew this milkmaid top. This is actually beginner friendly. It is easy, so if you're interested in learning how to sew a milkmaid top like the one I have here, let's get into the tutorial. So you will need a basic bodice. Okay, now I've marked out my measurements. This is my chest line or my bust line. From my shoulder slope I measured 9 inches for my chest line, and then from my neckline I measured my bust point of 12.5, my under bust of 15.5, and then my waist, okay, which is the length of the top. So if you want it crop top, then you use your waist measurement, the smaller part of your waist. Okay, so now I'm going to get my bust span, which is my nipple to nipple, which I marked as 4 inches. 8 divided by 2 is 4. I marked that on my waist and on my bust point. I'm going to connect that with a straight line like this. Now I am going to now impute my circumferences. Okay, note that this is an off shoulder top. Okay, so we won't be needing the shoulder area or the neckline above. All right, so what I will do is from my neckline I'll mark where I want it to be off, like where I want the neckline of the off shoulder to be. I'm going to be marking 7.5. You can go as deep as 8 inches if you really want your cleavage to show, but I think 7.5 is okay. So I'll mark 7.5 like so, and I'll connect it with a straight line. But first I am going to come on my armhole line there. I'm coming by 1 inch right before I connect that 7.5 inches. So if your shoulder is 7 inches, you come in by 1 and it will now be 6 inches. All right, now I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4, and I'm going to mark it plus my seam allowance. Added 1.5 inch seam allowance. Now I'm going to just from that my new armhole connect it to my chest line as I'm doing right now, and then we've created the off shoulder. Okay, now I am going to mark my waist measurement divided by 4, and I'm going to add that of 1 inch. We'll be adding a dart, but keep watching, we are going to be closing the dart. So I will just add that back my dart because I'll be taking ½ inch on both sides of my dart leg, add it back, and then I'll add my 1.5 inch seam allowance. I'm just going to connect it with a straight line like so, and then we have the bodies for this milkmaid. That's the basic bodies for the off shoulder. Now I am going to first use this pattern to cut my back. Yes, let me cut my back first, then we'll manipulate for the front. Okay, so let me use this particular pattern that I've drafted. Now I've marked out to cut the back first. So I'm going to be adding a back effect, that's extending my front hem by 3 or 4 inches to create a back effect. So that is why I'm not cutting from my waistline. So I'll just fold it like this. That is the part I'll use to create a back effect for my front. Fold it in, fold it on my waist because I want to cut exactly this for my back pattern. So this space is for my back. I'll fold it like I said earlier, and then I'll cut exactly this for my back. All right, so instead of drafting another, I'm doing this so I don't have to go over drafting another this thing all over again, because it's basically the same as the back. The only difference is just that the front is going to have a back effect, and then we are going to now alter the front from the underbust for the milkmaid effect. All right, so I'm just masking this down on another paper, and I'll cut this. Now if you want your zipper to be at the back, you have to make allowance for your zipper on your center back, but I want my zipper to be by the side, so I'm not adding any zipper allowance at the center back. Now I'm cutting ½ inch below the line because we'll be joining the back. So cutting 1/2 inch below the line and then cut exactly as shown. I'll just mark out the dart I have to the other pattern that I just traced. Okay, and then I want to create the dart for the back. All right, so from my neckline I came down by 2 inches, just marked out the 4 inches bust span and connected with a straight line. I want to create the dart for the back. Now I'll just mark out 1/2 inch on both sides of my dart leg and connect it to that 2 inches that I marked down. Now I'm going to be closing this dart because I wouldn't want to sew in any dart on my fabric. I'll close it on the pattern, okay, so that I don't have to sew it on the fabric. So here is how I'll close it. It's either you pinch it like this and just tape it down with your tape, or you just cut through it and close it, whichever works best for you. But I am doing this because I want to close the darts. I don't want any darts on the fabric. But if you want to sew in the darts on your fabric, you just skip this part of closing the darts on your pattern. So right now I'm closing the darts, and once I'm done closing the dart, the back is ready. This is just it for the back. I'll set this aside and then I'll work on the front bodies to create the milkmaid effect. Okay, so now I've gotten the front pattern and I want to create the milkmaid effect on the down part. So on my waist I'll come down by basque effect first. I'll come down by either 3 or 4 inches. If you want to create a basque effect, this is optional. So come down by 4 inches and I'm going to connect it to the original measurements and not all the way to my seam allowance, so that you will not have a problem when you're joining it to the back. So connect it to your original measurements, okay, like so, and then just curve it out well, and the basque effect is ready. I'll just bring down my darts, okay, and then I'm going to take 1/2 inch on both sides of my dart, just like I did for the front. Remember, we've already added back the dart allowance on our circumference on our waist when we were doing our waist circumference. So I marked out 1/2 inch and I connected it to my bust point. Again, I'll be closing the dart for the front because I don't want to sew it on my fabric. So what I'm going to do first is to pinch it and I'll close the dart so that I'll blend the basque effect, because if you don't do this, you realize that one part is already longer, so you're just going to blend it up like this, so that by the time you cut everything out, it's going to be equal, okay, or by the time I tape it down, it's going to match up. So now we are done for this. Now to create the milkmaid effect, I am going to slash my underbust, slash through my underbust like I am doing. So slash your underbust, and that's basically it, guys. So we have 2 pieces for the front, the upper part, which is the milkmaid part, and then the down part like this. So I will go ahead and close this dart and tape it down. Okay, so once I am done, I will cut out the backs. I'll just cut it out. I'll add allowance on the down area, 1/2 inch allowance, before I cut it out. So if you're watching up to this moment, please click on the like button. Just do so right now, okay? Thank you. So add 1/2 inch allowance on the down part like this before you cut it out. That is the joining allowance. Add on this other side as well, and then I'll cut it out. And you're going to label the parts you're going to be adding your seam allowance before cutting on the fabric, okay? So I'll label On this part, I'll add 1/2 inch seam allowance, okay, to turn the neckline. Then on this part, I would, it will be 2-piece, so it's not going to be cut on fold, okay. So I'll also add 1/2 inch allowance on this part to join it to the upper part. On the back, I'll also mark 1/2 inch seam allowance for the neckline, and we've already added down part, so that's just it. The back will be cut off full. Like I said, I'm not adding zipper allowance at the back, center back. It will be on the side. I'll go ahead and cut all of this on my fabric. So for this part, okay, which will have the milkmaid, I'm supposed to slash and spread, but it's basically the same thing. I just added fullness. I added 6 inches extra, okay, to create the milkmaid effect plus seam allowance. So the center front is split, it's not on fold, okay, and I cut out 4 of it because I want to kind of double it. The fabric, I want it to be doubled, so I cut out more like I want it to have a lining, so I'm using the same fabric as my lining. So for this down part as well, this side is on fold, and I added my seam allowance at the necessary part. So this is how it's going to be, more like it. I'm going to ruche it, gather this part to this part, okay. And then for the back, this part is also 4. For the back, I also cut 2 because I'll be turning 1 with 1, okay, more like I cut out 2 pieces, like 1 for my fabric, 1 for lining. All right, so that is it. I'm going to go ahead and turn the neckline of the back and the down part, and yeah, and iron it. So place 1 on 1, turn the neckline, hold it with 1/2 inch, and then the down part and the sides as well, and then I'll turn over and iron. Then for this down part, or rather for this milkmaid part, like I said, it is 4 pieces and the center is not on fold. It's actually 4 pieces, okay. What I'll do is open the down part. I notched it. Now I'm going to get 2 pieces of the front part, which I'll be joining, and then I am going to use it to just gather on the down part, okay. But first we'll join it and create the channel for the rope, and then would now attach it to the down parts, okay, to create that ruched effect. All right, so I'll show you how to neatly join the upper part and make your encasing for the rope that will be inserted at the top. So this is how I'm going to do that. I've already done the back. Now for this part, what I will do is I'm going to join the necklines. I join the neckline, like you can see, for both of them, and then I am going to turn it to the back and then match the seams. So turn it to the back. If you want it to come out neat, just follow this process. Match the seam, then I am going to, from the seam line at the top, I will measure 1 inch or 1.5 if you want it to be really open. Measure 1.5 at the down part as well, and then I am going to, from the 1.5 on the top and the bottom part, I will sew 1/2 inch down, leaving space. That is the 1.5 that I measured. There will be space, okay. So I'll sew 1/2 inch from the 1.5 mark down. As you can see, I've done that, and this is the hole that we have. I'll go ahead and finish up the seam on that opening. So fold it like this and sew it down. You stop at the where the joining on the main distance stops. I hope you understand what I mean. So I'll go ahead and now sew 0.75 down to create the space for the rope. So this is where you're able to come out in front. I hope you understand what I mean. Okay, so I'll do all of that, and then I will now come and gather it to the down part. So I have done that. This is what it looks like. I'll go ahead and attach the rope now, and I would now match the center to the center of the back part, which I notched, and then I'm going to gather it to the down part. All right, you can go ahead and run loose stitch and create your gather, but I'll just gather as I sew. That is how I do my gathers. It just works best for me like that. I'll do gather it and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. And this is what it looks like. I've already attached the rope, as you can see, gathered it to the down part, and I've also turned it with the other side, that is the lining. Okay, and that is what it looks like. So this is how you just drag it and tie it to create that effect. So I'll bring the back piece and I'll sew it down, attach my zipper, and then I'll attach the sleeve of my choice. And that's all for this tutorial. Please, if you found this helpful, click on the like button, subscribe to this channel, share this video, say something in the comment section, and I'm going to see you in my next one.